From woo woo to wow wow. Bridging the gap between the mystical and the scientific.
The journey from out there to in here.
Join me, Dr. Patrick.
And me, Dr. Rita, as we make the seeming intangible
tangible.
This show will expand your mind,
open your heart,
and make you say, wow!
Aloha.
Aloha. Guess who's here?
Well, that looks like Reverend Dr. Rita Andriello.
Yes.
Farron.
And Reverend.
And this is Dr. Farron here. And I am just excited today because we have something very exciting for it to come up. But just remember, if you've been watching, have you been taking your woo-woo to wow-wow?
Yeah. Have you?
Have you?
That's where you are. You're from woo-woo to wow-wow right here with Patrick and Rita,
exactly.
Doctors of Consciousness Studies. That's
Absolutely.
what we are.
Welcome.
So today we are doing something really special and a little different. All right. The title of it is about the inner child. What's so woo-woo about the inner child? And we couldn't think of a better way to do this than for me to kind of interview Patrick, and I'm sure we'll talk back and forth about his journey in the inner child work that he does, which is the really important part of his ministry and the bulk of his ministry, and also about his beautiful book, the memoir of the little man.
Look at that little boy.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, that's him. Do you recognize him? And it is Finding the Prince in the Ashes of Chaos, Dysfunction, and Mental Illness. So Patrick has quite a history, and I think he'll have some wonderful things to share with us today to help us all with our inner child in this challenging time that we're living through here in 2025. Okay, so yeah. So what first drew you to this idea of the inner child in your own healing journey?
In my own healing. Yeah, I think it was, the reason for the book, for one, is that I wrote a lot about my past and what I had to contend with growing up in a very, very dysfunctional, basically very terrifying family at times. But I think that that's what drew me. But I think that, as I've said before, I feel like I was born with a self-help book in my hand. So I feel like there's always been this little divine urge or urge, call it whatever you want, that there was always this part of me that was the inner child. And I didn't have a name for it. I just knew it was a big part of my life.
All right. And you talked about your childhood being very traumatic. So could you share just some of your personal experiences about how your inner child shaped that story that you tell in this book, if in case you're first signing in?
Yeah.
The memoir of the little man.
That's a great question. I think it shaped me from the very beginning, especially when you're young and you feel very alone, as I did, maybe not everybody else, but my imagination was a really big part of my shaping my life as I grew up. And I have a feeling, and I know now with all the work I've done in it, that little inner, what I call the inner child, was there since the very beginning, as to help me, to guide me. But the biggest gift was the gift of imagination that we all have as children, but it seemed to carry me on and through all of the chaos and all of the dysfunction.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So some people hear the word inner child, but what does it really mean? Because it does sound like, well, to some people, like a little woo-woo, what's, inner child. But what does it really mean, like in human terms? What is the inner child?
That's a good, another
Is it
good
a memory?
Well,
Is it a part of our psyche? Is it something deeper than that?
it's all of the above, but mostly it's deeper than that. Going back to what you said about people do consider this woo-woo. If I mention inner child, they go, oh yeah, what are we going to do? Play with.
We did that in the 80s or
Right.
whatever.
Oh yeah, I already did that. I don't want to be the bearer of not so good news, but I don't think we have taken care of it, because I see it. I have a gift that I will share with you, that when I'm with someone in a session or if I'm in a group on Sundays, I actually can feel the inner child that is happening in the room with everyone.
Really?
And it's sometimes it even becomes a visual. They don't become that, but I can see that little child, whatever it is. And it's at first it scared me, and now I absolutely love it and treasure it, especially in private sessions or in workshops, because you can see that that energy. It's an energy
Mm.
for one. And there were a couple of other things that you had asked of. It goes deeper than
Psyche,
that.
the
It's
psyche.
psyche. Look at all of the great psychologists, Jung, that they've all dealt with the inner child. Every single mystic has dealt with the inner child. And to be honest, I see it coming up a lot more in the metaphysicians that are saying, oh, there's something here. It's an energy, it's a feeling, it's a part of who we are.
Mm.
It's the very essence of who we are. I call it the superhero, the super God hero is that very thing that we sometimes, I point here because it's in my heart and usually in my solar plexus.
Yeah, and you just called it the superhero. You also call it the champion. So
Mhm.
sometimes we think of the inner child as like some little vulnerable thing within us that's, that's hurt
Um,
and all that, but you call it the champion. So what does that mean? How is it a champion?
well, growing up Catholic, which I am not anymore, but growing up Catholic, I always thought that superhero was God or the saints, and they were, that's all good for what I was going through and I'm not even disputing it. It was a great help to me. But I call it a champion because all along the way there was this inner like you can do it
Hmm.
feeling
Hmm.
like I know you're sad, and it was almost comforting me until I realized and got into this work that I was actually comforting my inner child, which means we were both comforting each other. And that's the whole key to the work I do is the integration.
I'm remembering some story you used to tell. It was like this visual of this helicopter
Oh,
coming in and the inner child being in there and just rescuing you from the situation. I'm just
you know,
remember that
you
story. I mean, just like refresh my memory because
I
I
will, I will. It's funny you said that because I got kind of this emotional thing too. And the reason I'm laughing is because as much as I wrote the book and years I've been working with my inner child and years I've been working with other people, even when you said that one little period that I was talking about kind of hit me emotional. What it was that when you're in a dysfunctional family and experiencing a lot of trauma, you have many ways. Some people hide, some people continue, but I was hyper vigilant. So I was constantly, what's the next thing? Is he going to come through the door? What is going to, and I was very, very hyper vigilant, and it kept with me for a lot of years. But then when I was doing the work and I had to let my little child know that the war was over.
mm,
And I remember going into the imaginative state, going into almost a meditative state, and flying in a helicopter, excuse me, I'm sorry, and just watching this little boy running around in circles,
oh,
scared and where am I and where's my mom and how can I protect and how can I do this and how can I do that? And I said, "Oh my God, I do not know that the war is over." So in my imaginative state, that bring the helicopter down, and I swooped this incredible little boy that was me into my hands and got him on that helicopter and let him know it's okay. The war is over. You see, he was still fighting it, and I had already left home.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Was like
psychological, but it's
was a form
powerful.
of like PTSD kind of
No,
for your inner child, like
yeah, big
still
time.
living through the experiences you were
Waiting
having.
for it, waiting
In
for it.
fact, maybe we need to take a little step back just so people understand that Patrick, if you haven't read the book, Memoir of the Little Man, and Patrick grew up in an atmosphere where his father was a paranoid schizophrenic and also alcoholic and a lot of other things. And
Polarity, I mean,
yeah, so
bipolar
that's
and
what he's talking about when he's talking
alcohol.
about this and how he maneuvered his way through it. So
Yeah,
so
that's
being
a
that you
good.
did maneuver your way through that experience and turn into the person you are today, how do you use that work now when you have personal challenges? Like how do you use this inner child that you've
Mm,
become,
mm.
befriended and loved and connected with and interconnected and merged with. How do you use it
That's
now when you
wow.
have like challenges?
Yeah, because I obviously still do. Just because you discover your inner child, that's really kind of the beginning. And so yeah, how do I use it now? A lot of self-talk with that part of me, and that's what I've done in workshops too. I've worked with all types of men, women, and it's that allowing that child to have the voice that says, like when I'm really upset, or usually it happens. I don't know about any of you out there. I'm sure you can understand when you get threatened by anything, whatever trigger. That trigger is a big popular word, but for me, it's threatened. And when I feel threatened, I can feel my inner child defending and ready to run. And I've already done the work, and it still peeks back.
So you
I
recognize it.
recognize it. And then
Okay.
sometimes I don't. I'm just reacting. I'm just reacting. And then I realize who's reacting? Is it our collective consciousness or is that little part of me? And if I'll stop, and it's so quick sometimes, stop. And everyone knows, even people that don't really want to go any further with it, fine. They always say, I feel this little inner child or this part of me. And I just stop with my hands on my heart, and I say, what do you need? What do you need? When I get hurt, especially if I get my feelings hurt or somebody says something what I consider to be cruel, I just stop for a minute, breathe in, pause. Patrick,
Mm,
Patrick, what do you need? And then I can feel sometimes me going, okay, I got to get going. I don't have any time. Then you have to go back and say, I'm here for you. What do you need? And then usually I'll hear that voice from me
mm,
saying, my feelings are hurt and I'm angry. I'm angry. So then I go, that anger is perfectly fine. Let's just pause. I love you. And just what I would want anyone, any child would want to, when you're scared, we will go to a child that's out there. Oh, come here. What do you need? Come here. Oh, and they put in your arms, you're just holding them, right?
mm,
What the work is to take a moment to hold ourselves. There's nobody looking. You can still be all your male stuff and all your I'm confident woman and I'm this,
mhm.
but take the moment because if you don't, my experience, it will come up in a beautiful, beautiful little brat that wants to will get my attention one way or the other.
That's good. So we're going through a lot of trauma now in our country, in the
No.
world. I mean, anybody that is awake can tell that there is a lot of shift going on, a lot of trauma, political, um, you know, global, cultural, you name
Mhm,
it. It's
mhm,
going on right now. So how is our inner children doing and how can they help us through this?
mhm. Um, that's a good question because Marita, because we're gonna have to. It's gonna be happen to be a two-way street on this one because we like to think of the parental, which is what we want to integrate into the parent and then become this oneness that there isn't such a separation. But the best way is it's all about safety.
Hmm.
And I'm going to relate it to when we went through the pandemic.
Okay.
When the pandemic first started, I literally, when we didn't know what was happening, we still didn't know what was happening. What happened for me was I heard, and this, well, could be woo-woo right now, but I heard and my being took in I couldn't even put a number on it, the screams
Mm,
across an entire nation, across an entire world that we were all combined in this one thing called COVID, this pandemic. I could hear all the children, the inner children, screaming to the top of their lungs. They were so afraid. It was so foreign. And then us, who were going through it as adults and as who we are, we were scared. So we had a child that's scared and a parent, whatever, parental call it whatever, the grown-up us, scared. So it was so frightening. So that's when now, when this is happening again, there's these little wonderful scared children and scared adults not wanting to look at it. And so this is the time I believe that we really need to stay close to ourselves and say, we not I. Remember how parents, I got this. You don't have to worry. I got this. I like to hear that. I mean,
Hmm.
I have a foundation I go to. I like it when you tell me,
Hmm.
"Yeah, I'm okay. I got your back. You're going to be
Right,
okay."
right,
But this is a real we time with the inner child. This is the time that this little superhero can help us. But there's some fear here. So if we can combine together and say, we got this. What do you think? This is kind of scary. I know. But we've been through this before. Whatever's going on, it's all about the unknown,
right.
the big boogeyman, right?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of
Did
something.
that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking of something when you say this, because you said it before that it's the deepest part of us.
hmm
Would you say, and I know we're not two separate things, the inner
Oh,
child
of
is
course not.
us. I get
Of
that.
course
So
not.
let's not, think we're schizophrenic here.
Yeah.
But
Feels
would you
that way at
say it's a
times.
part of ourselves that's totally intuitive too? Like that doesn't have like all the outside garbage, that can actually
Absolutely.
hone in and feel what's really happening within us and what the real answers for us are because we are pure. Like it's the pure part of us
I mean,
that
you
isn't.
can't, yeah,
Would you say that?
I can't get much closer than the intuitive power than with the inner child.
Yeah.
For
So,
what I call the inner child, the inner energy, the whatever. I sometimes go the inner you because people get so like you'd be
right,
surprised at how nervous people get when I mention the inner child. And I think that's only because there is sometimes a fear, depending upon where you are, of meeting that part of yourself,
right.
that incredible, powerful part of yourself, the loving, sensitive, that can really lead us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
I'm a
this.
little passionate
No,
about
I
this,
know
as
you
you can
are, and I
tell.
think it's really good. So there's a lot of misunderstanding too sometimes about it healing the inner child.
Right,
Does it really need healing? And what does that look like? Um, what is it? Like they don't understand. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I got to go back to all my childhood
right.
things and I gotta like forgive, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. How do you heal the inner child? Like what is that?
Yeah, well, first of
Heal it if
all,
it's wounded,
right. First of
or is
all,
it wounded?
well, let's go to is it wounded? In reality, it is not.
Okay.
In the quantum field, in quantum physics, there is not really a healed, broken part, and we know that. I felt broken for many years, and I know people have been through hell and back, and
Hmm.
they feel broken. But that's just what mankind has given them. We've given these words, broken, confused or whatever it is, and maybe they all are, but no, I believe the inner child is just needing to one, feel safe, two, have it revealed to them
Hmm.
that you are not broken. And so, my wounded child, I've got to take care of my wounded child, my
Right,
wounded child.
right,
Well,
right.
if you're sitting here, I don't know about any of you, but I don't feel powerful when I'm wounded. So what we do, and we do in one of the processes that I use is reframing, reclaiming, and renaming. And that is to take it back to its purest state, my purest state, and rename it with new eyes. Oh my
You're
God.
talking about a past event?
Past event, like you, because you mentioned memories.
Yeah.
So you go back to the memory, but it is not about a witch hunter pulling up every single thing that I don't even think you need to pull it up. You've been thinking about it enough for years. So I don't think it's that. It's about going in and not and bringing it forth, because what I've always understood is the inner child does not care about all the events. Even in my book, the events are only important for you to read it to see how my inner child, we got through that. That's the biggest thing of it. But what the inner child wants to know more than anything is to understand. Let's talk just a moment of physical abuse, sexual abuse, any of the things, and the abuse that I went through. I knew what happened to me, which a lot of people don't because they block the memory, which is also, by the way, a safety mechanism that the inner child gives us to protect us.
But you didn't block the
I
memory.
did not block
That
the
was really
memories. And
fascinating.
so but I did need something.
You
I
need
needed
something.
to understand
Right.
how you could do this to a family, to me. I needed understanding that most people, they want to know it wasn't their fault. And they want to know that they did the best they can. It's such a powerful moment when you can sit there and say, I'm not interested in the event. I already went there, but I am interested in why, how did, and that's the thing with the little child is going, oh, I must have done something wrong,
Mm.
or if I had been this, if I had been better at this, and that isn't it. We, in any kind of abuse, we are dealing with a person on the other end that has an inner child that is probably
Mm.
so blocked,
Mm.
not even broken, it can't even get out of the self-imposed prison that
Mm.
we put it in order not to feel the pain.
Mm. I think it's a good time for an example of how your inner child championed you.
Mm.
And I'm thinking of the story in your book about the Christmas tree incident.
Mm.
Could you
Mm.
just touch on it for a moment?
Yeah.
Because we don't have a whole lot of
I
time.
won't go into the whole story. The basic thing is I was a Christmas kid, meaning that's another example. Through all of the pain, through all of the fear of my mother's life for her, for my father, my brother, everything, right? I still loved Christmas. And the one year I call it, that one year of Christmas is that and every year was always a torture. It's like you never knew what he was going to do anyway. He could have done anything, but we always knew it was going to be some kind of trauma. But this trauma got a little too far and we had to run from the house. And when we came back, I noticed something in the middle of the street. It was the tree, the Christmas tree. I just could see my eyes in the thing, but they were like saucers. And I was devastated, devastated. So here's the line about how it works. I'm devastated. My mother, we has to go in the house to make sure that the coast is clear. And usually he was passed out, which was a relief. And he was passed out in the bed, which was great. My mother got all that taken care of, said clean up. So I take this tree. I am so angry. I don't think I have ever been that angry in that as a
And how old
kid.
were you? So-
I was about eight,
Eight. Okay.
about
Wow.
seven,
Okay.
eight, something like that.
Okay.
So I dragged it in. It didn't, I said it looked worse than Charlie Brown's tree. I mean, it was just all over everything. I had got it all the way to the angel on top, and then that's when he went into a rage. But anyway, so I got it in the house, and I remember, I'm not going to go into the big gory details, but I remember being so angry. I looked at him and I just thought, you're never going to destroy one of my Christmas. I got that inner strength. It's like the eye of the tiger. And I sat there with my little dog, Mitty was there, and
Mm.
I sat there, and slowly but surely I put the tree, I took all the branches, all the stuff was off of it, and I worked. It felt like half the night.
Would you say that was a turning point?
Oh, big turning point. Because I remember saying, I think I say it in the book too, you can do whatever you want, but you cannot take Christmas from me.
Mm.
Because Christmas
Mm.
was up in my head. And I you can't. And it was such a victorious moment for a child. Can you imagine? And
Yeah.
then I got up there and got that angel up there. And I got there and it was all and I put the lights back on and I just sat there with my dog on the couch and just stared at
Wow.
this Christmas tree. So the next day, when my mother woke up, she was like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Because she figured we were going to have to toss that sucker and go buy another one,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
So that was a turning point where I believe this little man, this little boy, that was kind of a nickname for my mom, not kind of, it was, and that was that moment that says almost in manhood, but I couldn't be, but
Right.
it was almost grown up, which
Right.
isn't always good to be that grown up at 7 or 8. Mind you, I don't suggest
Yeah.
it.
That's beautiful.
So anyway,
Yeah.
reclaiming,
Thank.
reclaiming,
Mhm.
renaming, reclaiming,
Mhm. Yeah,
right?
and you can
Is
get more
that,
into that if you
yeah, yeah,
take
no.
one of Patrick's workshops or read the book or listen to him on a Sunday at cslkauai.org. Okay, so I have this question, and it's kind of a really great question. Like, like I said, we're going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
And so if our inner children all came forth at the same time and were whole, realized their wholeness, how do you think that would affect the collective healing of our, not just our country, but our planet in general?
So beautiful
Oh
because
my
the
God,
minute you
right?
said that,
What would it look
I
like?
pictured not only what it would look like, But what it would feel like first is by combining all of the children, that part of ourself, that pure innocence, you don't have to call it a child, pure, innocent, um, champion. We're talking self-love.
Mm,
So picture this. Picture every single person, no matter what they're doing. And I'm talking about all of them, all of the people in our world right now, that the inner children came through. And as they rose like a phoenix rising, it was self-love rising.
mm.
And as it rose, there would be a purification that I don't think we've ever had. And I believe it might not be possible right in this moment, but since there's no time or space and the quantum, why not?
Somewhere it's
Because
already happened.
that's what the combining, to answer your question, that's what the combining of the inner child would bring if it became one, it would be self-love.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, we're going to start to wrap this.
sure.
So there
This has
might,
very been great.
I
We're doing the
know.
show together, and I feel like you're a whole different person. You're like
I'm
who's this
just a
interviewer? I feel like
contributor.
I'm on Brene Brown's
Okay,
podcast.
so if there's someone out there that feels disconnected from their inner child, what would you suggest to them? How they could
Mm,
just at least get started? They don't,
right.
what would you
Yeah.
suggest?
I could give a whole bunch of tools, but I'm going to give the first thing that would I would suggest is to take a nice deep breath, be by yourself, and always connect to your heart. And know that there is something there that I call the inner child, inner wisdom, inner God, call it whatever you want. But this essence, this thing has been with us before we even arrived in our mother's womb. And this is with us now. So, what I would suggest is the direct communication.
Mm,
Nobody's around journaling is fine because a lot of people would rather write, but just these are the words that you can start the whole process. I want to get to know you. Because I get that asked all the time. How do I connect with my inner child? And I'll give you this. You can't help but be connected to your inner child. We may block it, tell it to go away, even abandon it, but it will never leave us, ever, ever. So the first step is direct communication
mm.
and the courage and the bravery that comes with that, because then you're going to have this additional part of yourself that you're getting to know. And it's really a wonderful feeling, and it is beneficial to every single thing we do in our lives.
I love it. So if your own little man was sitting here right now, right here, right now, and he is,
I am.
what
He
would he
is.
have to say to us
Hmm.
if we were sitting here? He is sitting here.
He would say, it can feel scary, but do it anyway.
Mm,
And the most important thing is that you're not broken. You've never been broken. There is nothing to band-aid or there is only understanding. And so to get to know that, the key to open up that door is loving yourself enough to love that part of ourselves that makes us whole and complete. And the inner child loves laughter, loves humor. And
mm.
so, and just say, yes, I am here for you. I love you. I love me. We're in this together. That's how I
Yeah,
would do
that
it.
was perfect. It's almost like a closing treatment. It was a closing treatment.
Mm,
So, this has been great, Patrick. Thank you.
mm.
And Patrick's book, The Memoir of the Little Man, is available on Amazon, and you can buy it there or at our center if you live on Kauai. And it's an amazing journey. And I just, for myself, just to champion his book. Well, I live with this guy, and
Mm.
to think of some of the things he's been through, and I know a lot of us have been through. He's not special, but the special part of him is that how he worked through it and how he still stands as a great person today, helping others to do the same. So,
And Rita, before you close, you're a really wonderful writer and you edited this book
yeah.
so wonderfully that But that's how she even got to know it on a deeper
I
level.
know,
And it
I
wasn't
know.
easy,
It
was
wasn't
it?
easy to
Wasn't
read it.
easy to read.
I'm screaming out of the
She
other
goes, yeah,
well, this happened to you. And
right.
I thought I knew everything. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So
so
yeah, so just remember
yeah,
that,
so
and if you need to speak to Rita or myself from the podcast, remember to give suggestions or whatever. How do they contact us?
they can contact us at our center's email, Center for Spiritual Living Kaua'i at gmail.com. Okay. Or
All
you
right.
can respond to our website. Just go to www.cslkauai.org and you'll find all our information there and all our contact information. And if you've liked this, if you are enjoying this podcast, please subscribe, like, share. It's really important
The
because
sharing's a real
the share
big.
part is a really important part of it to help people to get to know us and to get
Right.
to know themselves and to get to know the light in the world that we're trying to bring. And so many others are also. So like, share, subscribe. All right.
And if you know anyone that's going through any kind of turmoil in any area, have them watch the podcast. If they're going through something with their inner child, send this to them so that they can get an idea where to begin for themselves.
yeah. So
So thank you,
thank you.
Rita. That was pretty wow to
So
me to have you interview me.
oh,
So
thank
thank
you.
you.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. It was really good. I always get to know you different when I do it from that position.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to this. This will be out, obviously. It is out when you're watching it. It's out. And then on October 15th, a new one will come out, and we're celebrating Halloween. And this is our title, The Magic of Quantum Thinking.
Hmm.
Yes. Boo, woo, or wow. All right.
Oh,
That's what
that's
we
what we
got for
need is
you.
more names in front of it. Say it again. I just love it.
The magic of quantum thinking. Boo, woo,
Woo,
or wow.
wow.
Or wow.
Or wow. Let's choose. Let's take
It's
wow,
the
shall
choice,
we?
right? Okay.
And,
So,
and don't forget, right?
all right.
We have to remind you of what you are. And this goes to your inner children too out there. You are magnificent. Mwah. We love you.
We love you.
From woo woo to wow wow. Bridging the gap between the mystical and the scientific.
The journey from out there to in here.
Join me, Dr. Patrick.
And me, Dr. Rita, as we make the seeming intangible
Tangible.
This show will expand your mind
Open your heart.
and make you say, wow.